Staying in the mountain hut is one of the more interesting things you could do hiking in Japan, and this hut, Kumotori Sanso, sits atop the shoulder of Tokyo's tallest peak. Join me on an incredible adventure as I hike to the top of Mt Kumotori. One wet spring's day, a bus from Chichibu traced the winding roads into the depths of the Chichibu-Tamakai National Park, eventually depositing me at Mitsumine Shrine, where the rhododendrons were still blooming. Once before, I had hiked up to this scenic mountain shrine on foot, but today the shrine was just the beginning, and without pausing to explore it again, I headed straight for the highland forests. So it's been raining through the night and into the morning, but as predicted by the weather report, it is starting to clear up and should remain clear for the rest of the day. So hopefully the trail conditions will improve as we hike. It's very nice already. A torii gate marked the exit towards the trail proper, and alongside was a ticker to track hiker footfall. And beyond, familiar Japanese cedar forests. So the plan for today is to hike my way to the mountain hut, Kumotori Sanso, where we will spend the night and we will summit the actual mountain itself early tomorrow morning. Alright, looks like the weather report was spot on. It has pretty much cleared up, which is very nice. Even some of the benches have become just dry enough to be usable. Well, still a little damp. After about an hour of hiking, I came to a pass called Jizotoge and enjoyed the open views here. While the hike route from Mitsumine begins pretty high up, the trail navigates a series of ups and downs, crossing several minor peaks and landmarks. Also nearby were groves of poisonous Japanese andromeda called asebi, or drunk horse wood, for the agony they apparently cause to animals who ingest them. Up next was the minor peak Kirimogamine, with a little hut that serves as a resting spot. A brief respite, and then the trail began to climb steeply. A good deal of uphill later, past the sign that said Shoulder of Mai Shiraiwa, I came to the next peak, the quiet summit of Mount Mai Shiraiwa, and decided to pause for lunch. Not much left in the tank. Gotta refuel. Pretty high up now. The wind is icy. I have some rice ball. That hits the spot right there. Family Mart premium chicken sandwiches are so good. Cold, but tasty. Alright, time to get going. It is absolutely freezing up here. We've crested over 2 main mountains. There's one more big one to go before we can get to the mountain hut for tonight. So, gotta get that blood pumping again.
Another hard push uphill, and a large abandoned structure came into view. The ruins of the Shiraiwa hut, near the summit of Mount Shiraiwa.
We're at 1900 meters up. This will be the tallest point for today's hike. And after this, we'll have to dip back down for quite a bit before climbing back up to the mountain hut.
The hike pushes on, through moss-covered woods and rocky cliffs, downhill and then arduously back up.
I think we may be on the very slopes of Mount Kumotori itself. This should be the final uphill push towards the mountain hut. Let's go. Dude, I see a tent. I think we're here, finally. What a sight for sore eyes. Dude, what? Look at this. There's like a kotatsu. Yeah, it works. It's heated in there. Dang, this is nice.
I came during an off-season and was very fortunate to be able to get a full room to myself. Wandering the hut spot this interior, the size of the place was impressive. One gets a sense for the kind of traffic it handles during peak times.
So I think the sunrise is going to be this way, which is nice because my room is facing that direction, so I may be able to watch the sunrise without braving the chill tomorrow morning. There's a toilet structure over there. That's a nice thing about Japan, you always have clean toilets. Also over here, there's a little wash area, which I think might be mountain mineral water, spring water sort of deal. Oh, that is refreshing. I mean, I'm pretty thirsty, so anything cool and watery is going to taste really nice, but this does taste really nice. I gotta wash this. There's also a campsite down over there. It's probably going to be a pretty cold night to be camping outside at 1800 meters. I will be inside with the kotatsu.
One of the great joys of staying at the mountain hut is the fresh, warm meals, an absolute luxury this deep in the mountains.
Alright, so dinner was very good. It's a very simple dinner, but everything tasted great. there were actually 4 other people with me, 4 other staying guests also having dinner. And well, they were all very polite and nice, but they mostly kept to themselves, so I didn't film them. Also, I think the sun is setting. I think I should probably go outside and see if I can get some nice shots of it. So sunrise tomorrow will be at like 4:30 a.m. So I think I'm going to try to go to bed early. Breakfast is 5:30 a.m. and checkout is 7 a.m. That's how mountain huts roll. Looks like we may be pretty out of luck for the sunrise today. It's a cloudy, misty sort of morning.
Breakfast was tamago kake gohan, warm rice and fresh egg, and fish. It was soon pleasantly bright outside, even well before 7, and despite the cold. In the crisp light of the morning, I gathered my belongings and prepared to hike for the summit.
Now, to head to the summit of Mount Kumotori itself. Should be about 30 minutes or so from here. Just met a pair of guests from the mountain hut last night who went early to the summit and were just coming back down, and they were saying that the views of Mount Fuji up there are gorgeous. So, looking forward to that. Let's go.
The trek was steep and sometimes tricky, but invigorated by a night of rest, I was able to strike a steady pace, and the views behind me was a constant reminder of how high up I was. Surprisingly, I found the summit for the moment deserted, and so I stood amongst the markers in the icy breeze, alone except for Mount Fuji, standing at the horizon like a silent sentinel.
are at last. This is the summit of Mount Kumotori and the highest point in Tokyo. Excellent weather today. Couldn't ask for better.
A little further on stood an emergency shelter in surprisingly pristine condition for being atop a mountain. And past the hut was the path down towards what is perhaps my favorite stretch of the hike.
Oh man, I love hiking ridge lines like these. It's like it's flat, the path is easy to walk, and the view is just unrelentingly breathtaking, you know?
This section was a long and incredible ridgeline hike, relatively flat and constantly flanked by astounding views of the vast terrain.
Looks like a helipad.
Finally, the relatively imposing frame of Mount Nanatsushi came into view. Instead of scaling it, I opted for the path leading around and down instead, ending the ridge hike and plunging me back in the forest. Having shaved off a few hundred meters, I felt like springtime has caught up to me again. And also, taking this path yielded an unexpected reward.
Oh wow, a bit of a waterfall up ahead.
Surrounded once more by stately cedar trees, I pushed my aching legs down the steady incline. Even here, the trail had more unusual landmarks to offer. Arriving finally at the trailhead, I beheld another unexpected sight. Wisteria clusters in beautiful bloom.
So we just got out of the trailhead earlier, and if you had a car, then you could start and end your hike here at this nice little car park right there. But if you're like me and don't have a car, then it's still a 1+ kilometer hike to the bus stop. So
I complained, but I probably didn't really mind it that much. The fresh green of the forest was alluring, the breeze of spring fragrant, and while my tired limbs were heavy, my soul was light.
So that mountain up ahead is called Mount Nanatsuishi, which means 7 stones. But I remember joking with someone once that this mountain is not so easy. Just so you know, I have a whole lot of puns on Japanese location names that you probably don't want to hear about.